And just like that, we are here on a Sunday, y'all. Welcome to my channel, Watch Up My Reviews. This is your boy James. I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen in this video, but that's all right. We'll live to fight another day. This is a brand new show on my channel, Bold and Bougie. I decided to pick up this because really there's nothing else going on in reality TV land, and the show seemed interesting enough for me to go ahead and just slide this on. Whether or not this show will be on my channel going forward on Sundays, we do not know. So right now we're going to try this out and we'll see how this goes. But y'all know I couldn't do this alone. I could not do this show without inviting my best friend in the whole wide world, my co-host on most of these shows, Mrs. Best. Y'all go ahead and say what's up to the lady.
Happy Sunday.
Yes, happy Sunday. Like, comment, and subscribe to both channels. Any content that I do not do on my channel, most likely she does on her channel. And if there are some shows out there that y'all would like us to take a peek into to see if we can add it onto our usual roster, let me know. Put it in my comments. I'll be glad to pick up any show that seems interesting enough to build up my show and content.
Absolutely.
But for now, let's go ahead and get into it because y'all, this show was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. It was like, what am I watching? What am I watching? So let's go ahead and get into it. So the show actually opens up with Gosha Hawkins. If you guys are not familiar with her, she actually was on Lala's Full Court Life. She dated Dice. And also she's one of Candy's friends. If y'all could remember, I don't remember what season that was with Demetra Bikini, but there
she
was
had a WeTV show too, LA Hair. That was
yeah,
on
she was on LA Hair. Yeah, I remember that too. I didn't watch it, but I remember her being on it.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, what? You have restaurants, girl?
Yeah, I was shocked. She owns like 5 different restaurants, got a food truck. I said, go ahead, Miss Kosha. But it kills me because all I can remember is when Demetri Key said, I'm in a relationship with Roger Bob, and Kenya did this face. I remember she was like, oh, I dated him too back when you were in Vegas and everything. And it just embarrassed the hell out of her. And I just remember that scene. But every time I look at this lady, I look at that scene. But she meets up with Crystal Smith, who is the ex-wife of Neo. Now, now I could be wrong. And I'm willing to be wrong. I don't really care. But I feel like Crystal's on the show because Monietta said no.
Yes.
It feels like that to me. I could be wrong, y'all, and I don't really care. Carlos can come and tell me I'm wrong.
Here's the thing. I feel the opposite. I think Crystal is on this show because from what Monietta's given in recent times, she hasn't been the most interested. She's settled. She's chilling. You know, I don't think she's into drama. I think she's there because they know, like Malaysia said, that everyone is not just friends with Monietta, but some of her closest friends. So I think they did it for drama because trust and believe, somebody put me in a room with your ex, I'm making whoever miserable. You better believe it. I don't care if you got what, I don't care. If my friend complained to you about me at some point, I'm pettily loyal, like to a fault.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And we're gonna dive more into that because I felt that way in the beginning. And then my mind changed as I watched the episode a second time. Y'all know I do that. So I watched these shows the first time with my mind made up. And then I watched it a second time and I processed a little bit more. And I'm like, well, wait, I kind of understand now. So, but Crystal says that, she and Neo, at the tail end of this divorce. And she said that, because over the blogs, let it be told, they were into threesomes and all kind of other stuff. And she said that she was not. Neo's never asked her to have a threesome. And I said,
I could have swore Crystal has said, though, when the divorce first came out, that she was tired of asking and participating in them. This is a thought. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I could have sworn I saw this floating around online a couple times throughout the years, even when they were happily married.
I thought that too. And I was like, I know I'm not tripping. Like, I could have sworn But maybe I don't know, y'all. I'm gonna go like this. That's that lady's business. But Gosha then asks her if she's open to women. And she goes, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna be able to, put my face in the place. Shout out to Forest Rocks on YouTube. But I've had, some experiences. And Gosha then says that she has dibbled into the lady pond. She's actually married to a nice young lady who chooses not to be in the spotlight. And that didn't come as a surprise to me because once again, she was in a relationship with Dice. We know that she you know, and admitted to being with Roger Bob at one point on national TV. So we know that this is, it's not a surprise to any of us. So she then tells Crystal she is having a launch party for her grits lines and pancake line, and she's having this theme party. It's Aspen in Atlanta. And I said, one thing Black people know we can do is we can just create some shit out of nowhere and try to make it work. Now, come on, now, Gosha. Now, come on.
Gaucher is.
I'm saying her name wrong. Sorry, y'all. I know I'm saying her name wrong, but
it's fine. I don't know what she's trying. I don't. It's probably pronounced Gosha, and she put it as Gaucher, so it sounds like something good. Let's keep it real.
I'm gonna say Gosha. So
But
yeah.
I'm just used to seeing her. I was a big fan of LA Hair, so I watched her on there a lot, and I'm not surprised she's dating a woman at all. She seems to have always spoke about that, but I feel like she's going to try and make it like a point of an issue with some of the women or part of her storyline. If your spouse doesn't want to be in the limelight on camera, things like that, they're respected and don't talk about them.
So let me ask you a question because you brought up something that I was actually kind of curious because I took it this way and I don't know if I should have. Do you really think she was trying to proposition Crystal into dating women? Like, do you seem like she was trying to like kind of push her in that direction?
No, Crystal gives off that she might do better with a woman.
Ooh.
I don't think she was trying to push her in that direction. I feel like people of the community can tell when people are wanting or
Absolutely
are part of the community even more than, just regular heterosexual people. So I didn't feel like it was messy. I know some people might say that. And I think a lot of it is just because of the negative aspects of the LGBTQ plus movement, but that doesn't apply. Those small negatives doesn't apply to the whole thing. I've always thought like she would do better with a female. And I used to think when she was on her show with Megan Good's sister on E Network, I used to be like, I feel like she just with him for the money and like bitches. That's how I feel. It's just how I feel, especially the way she responded to it. I don't eat pussy. Girl, you know you like that shit. It's sticky and it's yummy and you enjoy it. Stop playing. I feel like she does. Because why would you feel the need to say that you don't eat coochie? If you don't eat coochie, you just don't eat coochie. If you don't suck dick, you just don't suck dick. If you get where I'm going with that, why does it have to be brought up? So I think
okay.
Vaginas.
All right. So she then asks so then Crystal then asks Gaucher, who is invited to this party? And she says, well, Malaysia will be coming and also Tamika will be coming. And she goes, you know them, right? Like you're associated with them. She goes, well, yeah, they're friends with, my ex's ex. And she keeps skirting around saying Mo's name, but we know who you're talking about. You could have said her name. It's fine. I get you don't want to give that energy, but at the end of the day, oh well, it is what it is.
The whole scene, let's keep it real. Y'all always hired for a show. Now y'all need to get together. I wish they stopped doing this with reality TV, like planning these fake events that everybody's going to be at where they are conveniently around people they don't like. Like, it's a show. Everybody seemed to get along in some way except for Crystal. Like, they didn't have to do all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. So Crystal gives her the okay that she will come, and then that was the end of their meeting. Now we meet Princess Banton Lofters. She was actually one of the producers for Real Housewives of Atlanta. She owns a dental practice and also is a serious entrepreneur as well. She goes to a follow-up appointment for um, I would say it was a surgery. She's putting filler into her breast because she went in to get an elective surgery to have her breast reduced. And then when she woke up off the table, she had no breast. I forgot what that terminology is called or what the disorder she's called, but she doesn't have anything up there, so she's getting fillers. And she decided to invite Tamika to join her as well. She said she's known Tamika for years, and that she, feels like this would be the best person to have with her. And I said, oh, okay. And then sure enough, here comes Tamika driving up. Hi, I am Tamika Foster Raymond, and I have been in Atlanta for a long time. I am a stylist. I've worked with Lauryn Hill, the Fugees, Jay-Z, and I, am just here. And I'm looking at this lady like, so for those of y'all who are new to my channel, hi, welcome. And for those of you who, are just getting to know who I am and understanding, I don't like this lady. I don't. Now, I'm going to be fair. If she says things that make sense to me, I am going to give her that grace. If she says anything I don't like, I am going to give her that as well. But I am going to be fair with her. I'm not going to my channel to bash her. I'm not going to do any of that because everyone deserves grace at the end of the day. So I'm just putting that disclaimer out there. I'm not going, no matter how I feel about this lady, I'm still going to allow grace if she's in the right. That's just all I'm going to say. I can do that because I'm an adult, and that's what we do here. But on other terms, how she acted on R&B, not R&B Diva, Atlanta Exes, yeah, that lady can. I guess she lost a child at that time. All of that. I am not ignorant to that at all. But she did entirely too much on that show, and based on what we're seeing, oh, echo. I hate when this happens. Okay, and based on what we're seeing now, it seems like she gonna be a lot on this show as well. So, how did you feel about Tamika's introduction to the Bold and Bougie?
I'd like to speak on behalf of the Bay Area, specifically my town, also known as Oakland, California. Not everybody from there is like that. I just want to put that out there. People tend to judge people like, oh, they from Detroit. Oh my God. Oh, you from there. No, everywhere has crazy people. I got thirst from her though. It like she's trying to act relevant, but a lot of these people she's listing have not done shows in recent times or have not made albums in recent decades. They are legends. What she's done, I mean, I knew who she was prior to her being with Usher, but the fact that you're still using this man's last name with yours, why not just drop it? Because you had a name before him.
Right. That's what I'm confused about as well.
She's very like, she just doesn't give me real. I don't want to say anything bad about her. I feel like the way that she's acting could be because she's on camera, but not one thing that she has done or said on the whole episode of the show, I'll just say it now, came across as genuine to me. Just about everything she said and did seemed disingenuous, So
It just seems like she remind me of that. Like
she is Bougie.
Yeah, no, she definitely fit the title. Definitely, and there's no question. All of these women, with the exception of maybe Crystal and Princess, I can't put Princess and Bougie yet. I might have to see. I might have to fill her out. Crystal for sure. I don't think it's Bougie at all, but definitely Gaucher, Malaysia, and Tamika give me straight up Bougie. But I'm gonna say this about Tamika, and then we're gonna move on with the scene. I agree with you when it's like she says the way she says Tamika Foster Raymond, it gives that you act as if you're still married to this man. And he's now been married twice since y'all have been divorced. So I'm trying to figure out, maybe because you were the first wife, maybe you feel some sense of entitlement. I don't know, y'all. I don't know how this works. Like when it comes to you having the last name of somebody and been divorced over a decade. And
I feel like if you do, they have kids together?
Yes,
they do. Yes. I feel like if you have a kid with them, it's fine. But I don't know. Tamika just wants us. It seems like she wants to be.
It was the way she said it in her tone. Yeah. It was the way she said it. It was like she goes, "I am Tamika Foster Raymond," and I was like, "Okay, like." So, like, she didn't have to do that. She could just say, if you really want to be real with us, lady, you could just say, "I'm Tamika Raymond, and I was the ex-wife of Usher." like you did on Atlanta X's. You didn't even have to do all of that, but okay, whatever. But as Mrs. Beth said, she's had a name way before Usher. Like I knew who she was mainly because she is from the Bay. We all kind of the Bay. Everybody know everybody. It is what it is. When you make it into some stream of success, you are heavily praised on that because that is the image of all being in the Bay Area. So we, of course, we knew who she was because she is someone who has made it. So yeah, of course we're gonna know who she is. But my whole thing is, I don't like that she's trying to portray her being Usher's ex-wife as like that's her only avenue of relevancy, and it's not.
Yeah, she had a
It
name before him. She's done a lot. Her career has continued without him. But I feel like all the stuff that's happened with her in the press, from the divorce and how she behaved on the other shows, she's from a generation where they believe all press is good press. There's no such thing as negative press because you're getting noticed. So I feel like she's doing all of this to get noticed, but I don't know. I'll see. I got too much of her for episode 1, so
Yeah, we're
we'll
gonna
see.
get into that because she did entirely too much. But she meets up with Princess and Princess describes to her the experience. And I had forgotten that Tamika had a similar experience where she actually flatlined. I believe she said she was in the DR or something like that, or one of those countries where she was doing the exact same surgery. And I actually remember this hitting the blog. So it was one of those situations where I'm like, oh damn, she can relate to this lady. And the moment of empathy could have resonated in this area, but Tamika felt when Princess made this emotional journey of getting this filler, she goes, it shouldn't matter. You're living, you're healthy, you shouldn't even care about having no breasts. Now, she told her lady that she's doing this for a vanity reason, and I don't know how to feel about this. Because
She
at first,
is. She
well,
is
okay,
doing it
okay,
for vanity.
okay, but here's the thing. I do is somewhat agree with that, but at the same time, I feel like this could really be something because imagine going so many years having them defining some point of femininity and you being a woman.
Listen, as a woman, breasts do define you. I would feel upset. I get what Tamika was saying because Princess irked me this whole episode, and I feel like she's going to use her titties as a storyline in a way to get people to feel sorry for her. And I feel like if it wasn't the surgery, she would do it with other things too. However, what she went through is intense and does require some form of empathy. And Tamika's just not good with her
That
words.
wasn't the person. I'm telling you, that's the auntie. I promise you, that's the auntie that we all have that corrects us every chance she gets. It don't
Yeah.
matter how
And
right
if you
or
know
wrong.
her, which Princess claims that she does, if you know someone to have feel comfortable enough to have them come to your doctor's appointment, then you should know that they not gonna hold their tongue or be super, super empathetic. So it's like I got both sides of where they were coming from, but I also feel like Princess, you shouldn't have invited nobody. You could have done that on camera yourself and had the cast or the audience bond with you through the camera. And then Tamika, I understand you want this girl to appreciate life, but you kind of make it about you and what happened to you when you say that it's just,
I-
vanity. It's not your place to
right.
say, is my
It's
thing.
not. And in the fact that you have to understand, Tamika is about almost 10 years older than everybody on this cast.
Mhm.
So you have a lot more life experience than this lady. And this could be just in a moment of where she is. And you know, by being older than all of them, that it's going to take time for them to mature in all separate ways. Because nobody, when life hits you, one of the things I've noticed, and I'm in my 30s, y'all. One of the things I noticed that is when life hits you, there is no preparation for how you're going to react or how, especially when something like that happens. There
Mhm.
is no preparation that you have for that because you don't expect it to happen to you. And I get having the whole, oh, well, you should just be glad you have time on earth. But that's also because you've had that time on earth. That does not mean like when you were, in your 40s, I'm sure we could have said the same thing about when you had lost your child. Because I think somebody, if I remember on Atlanta Exes, somebody did say, okay, well, what are you doing with your grieving? And you acted a whole monkey on that show because of that. So I'm,
Everybody responds to stuff differently.
mhm.
Some people could lose their titties and say, I never want another surgery again. For some women, they may be chasing the idea and the feeling of what they were before the issue occurred. So, I feel for Princess, what happened to her as a woman, that really does suck. However, comma, you don't have cancer. You have your husband, you have your life, you have your wealth, and you are getting back to your health. Please don't talk about your titties this whole
I
season.
know, Princess. I'm not going to want to hear that from you. I want to hear about other things. Please do
Yeah.
not do this.
Talk
But
about the Housewives of Atlanta. What happened
yeah,
with
do
that? You
something.
said you're the
Yeah,
creator of it. Are you still working with Bravo? Are you like, what's good? I'd love to know. Because if
yes.
you're working with Carlos King, you're probably not cool with Bravo.
Probably not. Moving on from there, Gaucher meets up with Malaysia. Malaysia explains that she has been back in Atlanta for about the last 8 months and just has not said anything to anybody about her being back. She's trying to get the kids acclimated and trying to, kind of reestablish her life now being back in another city. And Gaucher asked her the question we all want to know: what happened with Basketball Wives?
Thank
And
you.
Malaysia says that, I just didn't like the energy of those women. They were mean and
She
they were
didn't
trying to
like being
critique
held
me.
accountable. She's only okay with the meanness when she's doing it to other people. But when it came time for her to be accountable, she ran like her wig was on fire.
I agree. And let me tell you why I agree with you. Because at the time I said, Malaysia, you have to be careful with how you treat people and how you
Mhm.
come off on this world, because you never know when the shoe will be put on the other foot and you're going to be the recipient of that kind of behavior. And now that you were, and especially by one of your best friends that you were so hell bent on making sure she was there for every given moment, you made sure of all of that. So I'm sorry. The fact that she got your ass back on that shit and was one of the ringleaders of that, I wasn't mad. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was not mad at her for that, because at the end of the day, that was the behavior you presented to the world.
I think
So
Malaysia's whole though existence on television, like the way she's acting in this episode, just as a whole, I don't feel like much has changed from
no,
Basketball Wives at all. I don't really see any growth. So I just wanted to say
I
that.
didn't either. I didn't see any growth at all, and I just felt like, yeah, she's still the same old, mean popular girl. So the conversation then turns to Gaucher's party, and she says that she invited Crystal and asked Malaysia if she knew Crystal, and she goes, "Well, I'm very close with Mo, so I know that's the whole situation, but I'm open to meeting her and giving her, a chance and trying to see what she's like and everything." And she goes, "Okay, good." And and she says, "Well, I'm also inviting Tamika, Tamika and all this pleasantries." And then that was pretty much the scene there. So then we then move over to Tamika. Tamika bought a beautiful, that house was beautiful. Actually, that's kind of my aesthetic, so I can appreciate that. She has good taste. She invites Malaysia over, and because Malaysia is into investment properties, I did not know that about Malaysia, but thank you, Tamika, for spilling that. Um, and pretty much they begin talking, about how many friends they have in common, and somehow it reversed back to Moneta. And I said, Lord, thank God I was not playing a game of how many times Moneta's name was brought up and I would have to take a shot. It
Man.
seemed like Moneta's name was brought up every scene of this show.
Somebody said that on the Bold and Bougie Facebook group. They were like, well, episode 1 was cool. The star was missing. No, Moneta, she was a part. Her name was truly mentioned in almost every scene.
Every scene. And I'm like, well, damn. Like, okay, Carlos, was Moneta supposed to be a part of this? Like, why is like her name being brought up every scene? Like, she's not gonna be on RHOA anymore. So we know that that's okay. So come on. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And it was really getting annoying to me, because it was like, okay, y'all bring up Monietta name one more time. And that's why I told people, if y'all go back and watch my Real Housewives of Atlanta, I said Monietta is very well connected, even more so than Candy. She knows everybody and is friends with everybody. If you even go on her Instagram page, Monietta is hosting event after event and has almost 1,000
That's
women in this
because
event.
if people think it's because of Neo, it is not. Fun
No,
fact, I met and danced with her years ago back when I did dance. She's huge in choreography. Huge in choreography. So she's not knowing people through Neo, then she's knowing them through choreographing their music videos and all of that. But I don't want to hear her name no more.
No, especially if we're not going to get the details. And I don't know if Crystal is having revisionist history moments on this show and not being honest with how the demise of that relationship happened. But if we're not going to talk about that, then what's the point of bringing it up? That's her
Yeah.
version. Monietta has her version, and somewhere the truth lies maybe in between both.
Well, now that
But
Crystal's been scorned in the alleged way that her being with him scorned Moneta, of course she's not going to want to talk about it. So,
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely. So moving on from there, Tamika, Crystal did get brought up in the conversation between Malaysia and Tamika. And Tamika said, well, I don't know her. I've never met her. I don't know how to feel about that because Mo is my dog. And I'm just like, all you got to do, lady, is meet her, get to know her, and see if that's someone you can have in your gracious. Y'all ain't got to be friends. Y'all don't have to be associates, but y'all don't have to be enemies as well. Y'all can just keep it cordial. If you see her speak and all this, I'm telling you, something's wrong with that lady. Something is really, really wrong with this lady. Like, I don't know what it is, but there's no way I could deal with that on a daily basis. Absolutely not. There's no way. So then we then go over to Princess's home. I feel like I'm skipping the scene. Yeah, I am skipping the scene. We meet up with Crystal and Shad. I remember him from Vine. That's what I remember him from that. He looked completely different to me. I was like, is that the same one? What did he have done on his face? He did something, y'all. What if for those of you who know who this is? What I can't put. I was. He looks so different. Like, what is it? Like, do you know who he is?
oh, yes, but the face does look. I don't know what people do anymore. There's plastic surgery for everything, dude. People are getting their legs extended by playing with their kneecaps. So listen.
I was like, he looked so different. Like, I did not recognize him. I was like, oh my god. Like, when I heard his voice, I was like, oh, okay, that's when. Because at first I was like, oh god, who is this now? But she meets up with him, and she talks about how he was supportive when the demise of her and Neo was happening. She says they're like, a couple without having sex, and I was like, I wish women would stop saying that.
For real.
I wish women would stop saying that because to me, it puts this stigma out there that sexuality cannot be fluid. Because I know plenty of gay men that still sleep with women. I
I
do.
do too. I do
I know
too.
plenty of them, and some do it for vanity reasons or image reasons. A lot of them want to have children and feel like that's the best way to do it. So, because they don't want to go through legal routes, they don't want to go through adoption, they want their own bloodline going through them. So they would do that. Like I actually had a friend of mine whose husband did it. They ended up with triplets out of the situation. That's not what he asked for, but that's what happens when you do it the ghetto way. I call it the ghetto way because you need to do it the legal way. But it bothers me when women say that because it makes it seem like you're putting a stigma out there that it has to be this way, and it's another comment. It's not that I'm saying it's insensitive, but I'm just saying I hate when women do that because it's like, y'all, come on. You treated him like he's an accessory, like you really are when you say things like that. And I'm saying he's a friend. He was there when I was at my lowest point, and I will always love him for that. And just keep it at that. You ain't got to throw in the it feels like we're in a relationship because that's what y'all women like to do. And then when gay men retaliate on y'all, then it's the attack of the black woman by the gays and stuff. That's how this shit started. I'm telling you. So moving on from there, she then talks about, the ladies and how she's in this new situation where, she's going to Gaucher's event and she doesn't know how everybody is going to receive her because she is, the op because they're all friends with Monietta. So she just, goes into it. And I like their dynamic. I do. But I just didn't like what she said. It just makes it childish. But anyways, before we get to Gaucher's party, we have one more little scene, which was at Princess and Dr. Lofter's house, and she begins talking about the breast and his energy. I don't know if he had just got off work and maybe was tired and just didn't feel like being on camera and everything. Maybe that's what it is. But his energy was given. I don't want to be on the show. Why did you sign us up for this? That's what his energy was given. I could be wrong. How did you feel about her husband's energy, Princess's husband's energy?
I felt the same. I don't think he wants to be there. I feel like she probably wanted to be a housewife when she created it, kind of like Mariah Hutt created Married to Medicine and was able to be a cast member. But
Hmm.
for whatever reason, that did not work. I feel like now she's trying to redo what she wishes she did. And I do not think the husband is here for it. And that does not mean that he's a bad husband and all of that. But I'm telling you, I feel like she talked about her titties constantly. I don't feel like she's gotten therapy for it, so he's probably having to hear it. Now he's got to hear about it, and the whole world know his wife ain't got no nipples. I just don't know if the man is excited to be on the show, but obviously he still showed up to support her, which counts. But he do look miserable.
He does. He looks sad. And so, yeah, speaking of that, she does bring up how she felt Tamika was being really insensitive by saying that she wants nipples and all this through her breast through for vanity reasons. And this is where my mind started to change because I was 100% on Princess's side. I felt like Tamika was being insensitive. But it was this moment here that made me feel like, no, you're bringing it up way too much. And you're making it seem like it is for a superficial reason versus it being any other reason of completion. It seems like you feel incomplete without this. And what Tamika was saying is that's vanity because you are still a being at the end of the day. You're still a woman identifiably at the end of the day. We don't see you as nothing else. So I was like, okay, as I said, I don't like Tamika, but I have to give her that. I don't feel like what she said was insensitive at all. I just feel like you're just putting way too much pressure on people to be empathetic with you versus just saying, this is how I feel, but I'm going to get past it. You need to make
What's
it a
the
movement.
attention? That's the difference between sympathy and empathy, from what I get
Hmm.
from what you're saying. Like empathy, putting yourself in someone's shoes to try and understand how they, feel. Sympathy, that's something that, you're receiving when people just feel sorry for you. And it seems like that is what Princess wants. We do feel sorry for her because as a woman, honestly, I cannot imagine. But you went in for a normal procedure. What about the women who, lose their breasts when they have breast cancer and cannot
Right.
afford the reconstructive surgery? I know a woman like that. And in real time, she
Same.
buys things like wedding water bras, stuffs, and stuff. And like our little friend group tries to uplift her about it because she's a survivor and stuff, but it still bothers her and she tries not to talk about it that often. So it is strange to see someone like Princess, but even so, I just don't think Tamika's the person to like.
I don't think she is either, but playing devil's advocate. And I hate I have to do this because I'm giving Tamika flowers and I don't want to do it. Damn you, Tamika. But okay, but playing devil's advocate, Tamika did experience similarities.
She did. She really did.
She did.
More intense
More
because
intense
she did
because
not.
she flatlined.
Yeah, this.
So to me, I kind of felt like, and this is why I said my mind changed when I really watched it the second time and actually heard what she said. Tamika actually would be the best person to say it's vanity because she almost lost her life
Yeah.
doing the exact same procedure. So to me, her feeling a way about Tamika kind of goes out the window when this lady literally did the same thing and almost died. So it's like, no, I'm sorry.
I also
She's
didn't
coming
like
from
if you want your friend and you felt the way about something your friend said or did, and you don't see them a lot, you have Tamika's phone number. You have the
hmm
ability to contact her off camera. If y'all really supposed to know each other about an issue that even if this lady's doing it for the camera, health is something people will always take seriously watching. It just I
right.
don't like either of them thus far. Princess annoyed the hell out of me and Tamika annoyed the hell out of me this first
I
episode.
just felt like if Tamika wasn't this, character, then we wouldn't be in this mess per se. But I had to play devil's advocate because that would be unethical for me to say Tamika's being insensitive when no, 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 she went through this and almost died. So that kind of makes her an advocate for telling her it is for vanity because at the end of the day, I had the same surgery and almost died.
Mhm.
You woke up from a table and realized you didn't have no breast, but you still had your life. So that's why I'm like, okay, damn, Tamika, I don't want to give her this, but I have to. So,
The cast, I think, based on the producers, I feel like Tamika, because she's outspoken, she's
mhm.
also a little quirky and odd at times, but she also lacks a filter many of times too. I feel like that combined with the issue with Princess, they're gonna try and make it seem like Tamika is an issue or a problem, but we shall see how they handle it because
Yeah, I'm curious.
try to pin her as the villain on a lot of stuff, and if they do, like people like Malaysia who had like little slick mouth comments
Yeah,
that
we're
could
gonna
have
get to that in a minute. Yeah,
yeah, I feel like people like her and Gaucher will get away with the bullshit that they're gonna try because they're gonna be focused
absolutely.
on Tamika or
Yeah.
Princess.
So moving on from this scene, we then get to Gaucher's party. She didn't have a lot of people there, but it was a very nice turnout as far as the aesthetic. I love the decor. I thought it was absolutely nice. I didn't understand people's attires. I was very confused because I heard it was hot that day, and I don't know why people had on fur. I felt like she could have kept the pool party instance and just made it an upscale. Like maybe have you a nice wrap on or a robe or something. Like you could have did that. So everyone, Princess is the first one to arrive there, and she immediately feels like, well, where's everybody else? And it was like, yeah, Gaucher was going to. So Gaucher comes out with her little slick, little short hairstyle. Um, I'm gonna say this about Gaucher. I don't want short hair is not for her. I think I like her better with the longer hair. I know. I don't. Because to me, she looked like the woman that was in Todd and Candy's movie, and I don't think she was. Like, I don't think she was that, but I had a hard time recognizing that that was her. Like, at some point, she looked like her. Then, other point, she looked like the Brat's wife, the Judy lady. She looked like her from. I thought that's who that was at first, and I'm like, well, dang, she looks different. Like,
Short hair either is going to age a woman many years or age you backwards. And for me, I thought the short hair made Gaucher look her age. That's about it.
yeah, I'm gonna say that. I agree with that. So then Crystal arrives, and also Malaysia arrives as well. So Malaysia pulls her to the side in this very passive aggressive way, saying, hey, I know that you're here and I wanted to get to know you better, but I have to let you know Monyetta is my friend and I don't want you to speak badly about her in front of me because that's going to be a problem and this and this and that. And I was like, oh, but basketball wives ladies were the problem and they were mean and and you couldn't be around people like that and they were trying to always critique how you were and stuff like that. Meanwhile, you bring your little ass at the end of this episode and do the exact same shit. So I'm trying to figure out. It couldn't have came off. It did eventually, but it could have came off. Hi, I'm Malaysia, and I don't want this to be awkward because I know I'm friends with her. But at the end of the day, you seem very sweet, and I would love to get to know you better, especially since we're going to be around each other because we have friends in common. And just let you know, no bad blood. I will give you a fair chance to, show me all of you. I'm going to give you all of me, and hopefully we could be friends. That's all she had to do. All she
I
had to do
think
was
the
that.
opposite. If you ain't got a problem with somebody, then there's no need to have a conversation or explain who's friends with who. Just be cordial. Just be in the same room. I don't. I'm not. I'm not gonna have a problem with you, even though you had a beef with James 7 years ago. I'd like to get to know you. No, I'm gonna just get to know you. We ain't got a problem. We ain't got a problem.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm gonna play devil's advocate with this. You are contractually obligated to be around this person, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if the circumstances was just regular, y'all was just at a party, and whoever had beef with me was at the party from 7 years ago, and you bump into them and they try to introduce themselves, and you say that would be absolutely fine. I agree with you there, but I'm contractually obligated, which means at some point I'm gonna have to be in more scenes with you. I'm gonna have to come to an event that you're hosting. I may even have to do a trip with you. So for me, that's going to require a lot of my time invested into being in your presence. I can't be in your presence and say, well, let's just keep it
If
cordial
you're
when you finish.
contractually obligated, though, then that means you signed your contract before you start filming. So go talk to Monyetta. Make sure she's cool with what you're doing, because I'm sure at one point they knew, and then come back to it. When people make stuff a discussion, especially coming in like, oh, you got a beef with my friend, contractually obligated or not, that adds awkwardness and sometimes
Oh, sure.
negativity to something that doesn't have to go in that direction. I just felt like Malaysia is trying to be a little bit messy, but then when Crystal was polite, she's like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna be polite too." But I don't know. I just don't. I didn't buy it at all. Just be
I
around.
bought I bought it, but but the problem was that I had with it. It was like I thought it was unnecessary.
Mhm.
I thought it was unnecessary to pull her to the side. I thought it was
It
unnecessary
was.
to really say all of that because we all know you're friends with Moneta. I see it on Instagram all the time. I follow
Mhm.
Moneta. I see it. But the problem that I have was that, like you just said, I'm sure Moneta knows that Malaysia is on this show and
Right.
Tamika as well. And I'm sure that this was going to be contention. But Moneta is not the kind of person that's going to sit there and say either her or me. She's not that kind of person. Moneta is fair. We
Mm-hmm.
all know this. So that's why I'm saying it was unnecessary from that aspect. You could have simply said, hey, look, my loyalties lie with this lady, but I know we on the show together. I will be cordial. I would like to get to know you better because I'm sure I'm going to be around you a lot. I'm a person of peace. I don't mind being in situations like that. And I don't mind my friends being in situations to where if they have to engage with somebody that is with somebody I used to be with, I'm not gonna tell y'all though y'all can't go talk to her. I'm not gonna do all that. Like it's pointless.
Yeah, but
So
understand if you're gonna be like James and not care that your friends is doing that, you can't then later, well, you was taking a picture with her and I thought that y'all was that you can't do that. Feel how you feel and stand in it. At this point, Moneta, contact WeTV and they call center and get you a fucking check for your name being
oh yeah,
referenced
absolutely.
so fucking much in one episode.
hmm
That makes no
So
sense.
so as the night progresses, here comes Tamika, late as hell, wearing every color of the rainbow. And I'm just looking at her like, you just have to be seen. You could just walk in there, just aesthetic. Now, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I hate I have to give this lady all this energy like this 'cause I don't like her. But for the most part, she can dress. For the most part,
Yeah,
she
she
has
yeah.
great style. She does. I'm gonna give her that. I don't know what happened here at this party, but I'm gonna give her that. So she walks in, she says hey to everybody, and immediately turns the party up a notch. She was like, so we're gonna talk about the two scenes. I'm not gonna go through everything. We're gonna talk about the two scenes that matter. So she then at one point, Princess and Malaysia were having a conversation about Princess's breast, and that's why I'm not gonna bring because I don't care about this that much. I hope she's well. I hope she gets everything she desires in life, that included. But when she says, well, Tamika said I had it for a vanity reason, and Tamika says, oh, here we go with this again. Like, and then
After
Malaysia.
you made peace,
Yeah.
after you make peace, you just bring it up again.
hmm
I want to know what's happening in that marriage.
Me too. That was the first thing I thought of. That was the first. Funny you thought of that. It was the first thing I thought of. I said, it seemed like there's no sympathy at home from her
Nope,
husband, and
nope.
that's why. And I think she's trying to pin it on other people who are as sympathetic with her as well. Because once again, if we're talking about Tamika, I'm not talking about Malaysia because I felt like Malaysia was trying to push it out of her. But if we're talking about Tamika, no, I'm sorry. I agree with Tamika. And the reason why, and I told y'all, at the beginning of the video. When I watched this verse, I thought Tamika was tripping. But then when I watched it the second time and then actually put into context that Tamika did the exact same thing and almost died from this, no, I cannot put that on her like that. She is right. This does come across as vanity if I'm looking at it from her perspective, because that is your life is more valuable than you having breasts. It just is. So yeah, I understood her. And so everyone was kind of pointing the finger at Tamika, saying you're being insensitive, you're not really hearing her out. And Tamika kind of puts it like, okay, if I was her and this was bothering me because I still have my breast at the end of the day, then yeah, okay, I get it. So they hug it out. So then Tamika pulls Goshe aside. She goes, "Is that Crystal?" The way she did it, I was like, "See, here we go. That is the Bay Area. It is. If I ain't ever seen Bay Area people, that is the Bay Area." She said, "That's Crystal over there. We're talking
Let's
about."
get it over with.
Oh, okay. Let me go on over there and introduce myself because I ain't got time for this. She said, "Hey, Crystal." You said, "I'm." She goes, "I'm Tamika." She goes, I just want to let you know I'm friends with Mo, and I don't know how this ended." And I was like, Tamika. No. I said, this girl just got ragtagged by Malaysia, and then here you go, doing the exact same shit. So then they sit down.
At least she wasn't passive aggressive like Malaysia was.
No, she was just extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
She said what the
Listen,
fuck. She said
I'll
what the
take
fuck it
aggressive
was.
any day. I hate passive aggressive is the quickest way I'm gonna pop somebody in their mouth. I can't stand it. It drives me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's my teeth itch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So she was all like, she goes, look, I was with Monietta when she was going through that situation because right around the time they did no, Atlanta X's, Monietta was at the end of her relationship with Neil. She had just ended it. So there was a lot of crying. There was a lot of, cheating allegations that were formed against him allegedly, because I can't confirm that because I don't feel like looking back at that time. But there was a lot that Tamika was, in fact, present for when they were on the show together. So it is kind of one of those situations where I understood Tamika, but then also at the same time, you can't really be one-sided in a situation like that if you're going to be contractually obligated. That's why I said, if this was a regular party and the circumstances were she's meeting this lady and she's friends with her, I ain't trying to be associated with you because of my loyalties there, then fine. But the fact that you have obligated yourself for this lady for however many months you're filming, I feel like that's a little unfair to them try to portray your personal feelings on a situation that does not involve you. I just feel like,
I still feel like Monietta probably know these women filmed, and so it's like
right. And
contractually she has to be in the same room with her, put up with her, and you can't just be fully negative everywhere you go. But I
right.
feel like Tamika should have been clear. Like, I feel like she's trying to say we never gonna be friends outside of this show, but can't really say that in front of the camera. But
Yeah, I agree with that too. I agree with that too.
that's just what I think. The only way to know is unfortunately to watch more. Now, if this bitch does this whole season, every time she's in a room with Crystal has to bring up Mo, you're doing
Because
too
that's
much.
what it looked like to me.
Yeah,
It looked like this is what she's going to do. She's going to continue to bring this up and talking about, oh, I can't go to the store with you because I don't know how Monietta is going to feel. Or I can't go shopping with you, girl, because, Monietta over there, I can't, or I can't go on this trip with you because, Monietta over here. And it just seemed like no matter what Crystal said at the end of the day, their minds were all made up of what they see this girl. Crystal said, I did not cheat with him when he was still with her. They were already done. There was nothing. And it kind of feels like to me, as I said, I don't remember. Y'all, when Neo and Monietta were together, I don't remember that. I remember the end of it. So I don't know what happened. It could have very much so happened. None of us, well, we were there, but we weren't there. So I don't know, but we do know that in real time, how her relationship panned out was the exact same of how him and Monyetta's relationship panned out, except I don't think Neo had kids on Monyetta. I think that's the only difference. So, these I don't know. He could have, I don't know. But I don't remember him having no kids on Monyetta. I remember him having a kid on Crystal.
He did have a kid on Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember him having children on Monietta. I do remember, though, that around the time that the show was filming, they had only been broken up for a very small amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow in that time, he was engaged and Crystal was pregnant. So we can't say for certain what it was because he kept his relationships pretty much private until he broke up with Monietta. But based on the timing of Crystal's pregnancy, engagement, and marriage,
it does look like it. No, I get what you're saying. It does look like
but
it.
I don't
Does
think
look
Crystal
like it.
knew. I really don't think she knew because she doesn't seem like the type of girl who would just be out here home wrecking.
No, I don't. And she doesn't give me that vibe either. That's why I'm like, I have a hard time understanding.
And I think that's why Monietta never attacked her publicly because I think Monietta's understood what the rest of everyone else needs to understand. Be loyal to your friends, all of that. But the person who put both of you in this situation to where it has to be a topic of discussion is Neo, Mr. Smith. So, it's unfortunate, but I think it's just two women who got wrong. And I hope that throughout the season, we never have to speak of it again. But I know that that's not true.
Yep. I feel like if anything, Crystal and this whole storyline with this bullshit, I feel like, and the reason why I say it's bullshit, y'all, is because they're divorced.
Yes.
Malaysia and Tamika both agreed to be on the show that this lady was going to be on.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's why I said I come from a standpoint where if I'm going to be contractually obligated to be in a not relationship, but in a situation where this is business, I'm not finna sit up here and keep bringing up my friend and y'all's demise and all this shit. I'm just not going to do it. It's ridiculous at that point.
Hmm.
So, but other than that, y'all, this show, it was okay. It wasn't the best show. I feel like I'm going to keep it. I am. I feel like I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to drop it like I did Love and Marriage Detroit because that was the only other original show that I decided to pick up on my channel that got a first season. The reason why I feel like I might keep this show is because one, I know a few of the ladies. They don't bother me as much as not knowing Love and Marriage Detroit and those fools on that show. And I'm gonna say this again: I am not reviewing season 2 of that show because I think for the most part they just got done filming. I'm not picking that show up, y'all.
This show
That show,
I think will last based on the reception. I always look at audience reception online to know if I want to keep recapping something. And people seem to like the show. They either really like it or they don't, but they're willing to give it another chance. So I feel like it'll be good to have
um,
a show with reality TV where we're not going to expect to see the women like literally physically fighting. They can go to Zeus or to Love and Hip Hop for that. It's good to recap something that's not annoying and with too much misogyny, which Detroit
yes,
Love and Marriage had a whole lot
a whole lot didn't
of
make no damn
sexism,
sense.
misogyny, you name it. So this show, it seems cool so far. I feel like Tamika's going to give us a show. Um, we'll
Oh,
see.
absolutely. I felt like she was the only entertaining person on there. And it wasn't entertainment in a way where it was like, oh my gosh, she's like the comedic relief. It was entertaining, like, oh my god, here she is being that auntie that we try to run from. I don't have one of these. I might have a cousin that act like this, but I don't have an auntie that acts like that. All my aunties are cool as cucumbers, so I can't even. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't even relate that. But she gives me that auntie that is always interfering, always got to correct you, always got to put her 2 cents in, always got to do it, and I'm just not here for it. But so far, she has not gotten on. Tamika has not got on my nerves yet.
Mine either.
That could change though, because as I said, I don't like this lady, but that can change. She might actually end up being my favorite. Who knows? I feel like the show is missing something. I think they need one more lady.
They
I
do.
do.
They do.
I feel like they need one more lady. I know we got introduced to Dr. Princess, Malaysia's friend. I don't know if she's going to be a full time friend
I
of the
don't want
show or her.
Malaysia's friends. The way Malaysia's behaved on reality TV, she don't need to have no friends of hers come on as cast members of the
Well,
show.
you know what? Because I know that's not her core friend. Malaysia's core friends is Portia, Yandy, Monyetta, and all them other girls that go to Africa every 2 months. That is Malay. That is Malaysia's core friends. I feel and Bambi. How I forget about Bambi and Bambi. So I feel like the Dr. Princesses and the Gauchers. I don't feel like she hang out with them like she hang out with Monyetta
Did you
and
notice though, side note, Gaucher's, oh no, Crystal, her restaurant, Johnny's Chicken and Waffles, that's the same restaurant Carly Red said was her restaurant on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
oh my god.
The same restaurant. And you said it, James. It's like, ain't no way Carly just owned that. She got to have
I
a
know
couple.
because I know she didn't. That's why I said it. I know she didn't. That's why I didn't know who the other partner was. Oh my god, that's right. I just
No.
because I oh, okay. Okay.
He's like, I noticed that. So I was like, I got to tell James when we on live.
Thank you for bringing that up because I didn't even pay attention to that. But yeah, I said that because
Like
I know. Yeah, no, I know she
probably a
didn't.
bunch of C and D list celebrities or the wives of A list celebrities, which usually come down to a C plus. They probably all
Hmm.
invest in it, which lets me know not to eat there. I'm sorry.
It was empty, so I know. You know, I'm not no shade. It might be good. I mean, it ain't my thing because I feel like
Not
that's a whole.
all, not the way that everybody season they fried chicken is meant to go with a
That's
waffle
why
and
I'm saying
cheese.
that's why it's
Yeah.
not something I would try just because I don't eat everybody's fried chicken. Like I
I'm
don't.
hella picky when it comes to soul
Yes.
food. My family,
Now,
y'all, is from New Orleans and Mississippi, so I'm picky as hell.
when I tell y'all, come moving to Florida and trying fried chicken here was like, I'll tell you, Publix and
Not the grocery store, Jay.
yeah, Publix was safe. And hell, 7-Eleven, surprisingly in Florida, is actually really good chicken. So
7-Eleven has
don't.
good chicken wings in California if you catch them fresh. But they got chicken?
It's chicken wings. It's chicken wings.
Oh, I was like, what? I love chicken wings. We need to eat wings
Hmm.
anymore.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But that was the episode, y'all. The reason why this video is so long is because it was a lot of this is what we do. The videos are not going to be this long going forward. Like we're going to get right to the point, but we had to kind of make sense because there was a lot of confusion, a lot of this one storyline being this one lady and everybody being friends with the ex of the ex. So hopefully this show does give this season. I'm going to keep it. It will be on my channel. I'm not sure if it's going to be a continuous Sunday thing. I will see how my schedule permits it, but we will see. Don't forget, you guys, on Tuesday will be on my channel. We have Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine on my channel. On Wednesday, we will be on Mrs. Best's channel doing Love and Hip Hop, both Miami and Atlanta. And on Thursday, again, we'll be on Mrs. Best's channel, then also talking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I may sneak in a third video because it just released to the blogs that Simon was denied citizenship here in the U.S. and that he is actually facing a criminal
Alan
charge.
said it, and Portia said that she was just mad. I was listening to
So
his wife.
yes, I may, since that's involving Real Housewives of Atlanta, I may add an extra video this week to cover that and give my input and also give more details of what the criminal charge is and also why he was denied citizenship. So be on the lookout for that. Other than that, that's all we got lined up this week. Thank you guys for coming. Catch the playback. We hope you enjoyed this show. And thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here. I always appreciate it. And we'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.